Naturally, I'm a Tottenham man. So far as football is concerned, it means almost everything, doesn't it, really? Because I can reflect back to being a player with and manager of some of the finest players that have ever been in the game.
He was a hard man to please. He was a tough Yorkshireman.
Once he said something, then he meant it, and that's the way you've got to do it.
Brilliant manager.
Bill Nick, as he was affectionately known to everybody at Tottenham, belonged to the old school of management. Modestly paid but totally dedicated, he sparred with the Shanklys, the Busbys and the Mercers. But Bill did two things the others couldn't. He won the League and Cup double and was the first English manager to lift a European trophy. All this whilst living on the club's doorstep.
He was happy living here in White Hart Lane amongst the supporters. And I mean, that was what Bill was. He was so down to earth, but still had this fantastic respect from everybody that knew him.
And totally honest.
I mean, you didn't even need a contract with Bill. You shook hands on a contract and that was it.
He joined Tottenham in 1936 and was a robust wing half in the push and run team, including Alf Ramsey, that won the championship in 1951.
You have got to have good vision. You've got to have good movement off the ball. You've got to have excellent anticipation. You've got to be able to pass the ball first time with accuracy. And even though we had good players afterwards, we could never maintain that push and run which the 1950-51 side had maintained.
This year in particular, thanks to these fellows sitting on the middle table there, I am the luckiest manager in the game and the proudest manager in the game.
No wonder he was proud. Nicholson's double team of 1961 played with a swaggering mixture of style and elegance. Blanchflower and Mackay, White and Jones, they were a class apart.
There was a common denominator about our game. We used to have certain little slogans about the game, like the man without the ball, he makes the play. We're not in possession, get into position. You know, play the way you're facing. Time is equal to yards.
Spurs beat Leicester at Wembley to become the first club in the 20th century to win the elusive League and Cup double. But Nicholson, ever the perfectionist, was still not satisfied.
Bill Nicholson himself, he was a little bit unhappy after the game. He was happy he won the double, but he wasn't happy with the way that we actually played.
The following season, Nicholson made Jimmy Greaves an audacious transfer scoop. Blanchflower's team retained the FA Cup, then in 1963 reached the final of the Cup Winners' Cup. They mauled Atletico Madrid 5-1 in Rotterdam to become the first British winners of a European trophy. Tottenham liked the taste.
You've been in Europe now and you ought to know what it's like. It's magnificent to be in Europe. And this club, a club like Tottenham Hotspur, if we're not in Europe, then I used to say, if we're not in Europe, we're nothing. We're nothing.
Cup celebrations were commonplace down Tottenham High Road. The FA Cup again, 2 League Cups, the UEFA Cup all followed. But when Spurs reached a European final again in 1974, ugly scenes of hooliganism in Rotterdam sickened Nicholson, who resigned as manager later that year.
They asked me if I would speak to our supporters at half-time, and which meant that I couldn't do the team talk. But I said, yes, I'll do that, and I went and I spoke to them over the loudspeaker system. But it didn't seem to make any difference at all. And that really sort of gutted me.
You get a few great managers in eras, you know, like every 10 years somebody else comes up, Bill Shankly and Matt Busby and Alf Ramsey. Bill Nick was as good as any of them.
So Bill Nick happens to be in part of the 50s success, 60s and 70s. And actually he was here in the 80s when we started to do good things as well. So Bill Nick has just put his thumbprint on everything that's good about Tottenham.
He was a very, very special man. And I mean, not only did he go on to be our manager, but he was like a father figure to us.